impressed that you remembered.
Don't you dare.
You ready? Okay, we're going to start on top of the test. What the Gemara did until here.
I'm over there.
We were discussing Meilah, that's personal use from property that belongs to the temple. And we translated the word based on two sources that we have. One is the source by a Saita, where it says that she rebels against her husband. She's Ma'al. And the other one was Avodah Zarah, rebellion against God. After we translated from those two sources, we then compared it to Truma through a Gzeira Shava of Chet. Learn Chet through Truma. So we started to learn different comparisons. The Saita has a benefit, even though her status doesn't, her value doesn't really change. She doesn't become
benefit from the relation.
She has enjoyment, so that enjoyment is considered that would be the comparison to Meilah, enjoyment. Let's say even though she was not a virgin beforehand either, so she doesn't really change that. And now, by the way, the Gemara says that it's only by Be'ula. Then we learn from Avodah Zarah where it's only a pagam.
He said Eshed Ish.
Yeah, that's the question where you were asking about.
Yeah, but you asked.
Yeah, no, but it said Eshed Ish. It's meaning she was already married.
No, the Gemara learns from Meilah Daf. Yeah, so that it means kadma bilas baal to bilas bayal. Anyway, then we learned from Avodah Zarah that over there's a pagam, even though there's no hana. From the worship of an idol, there's no benefit. He did some service. What did he do? He bowed down or something, but he still rebelled against God. So this would be comparable to someone doing a destructive act without benefit. And then we compared it to Truma, that it needs to be something that's eaten, you have to get the enjoyment from it. And it also needs to have a loss. It needs to diminish its value while the enjoyment is taking place. And then after we said that, we said, well, 1 second, it's not a perfect comparison to Truma because we have other things. We got the Shliach aspect. There's a Shliach also that it goes back to. It's not a perfect comparison to Truma because it says Mala Bayimal, Mikal Makayim, and nevertheless there's Meilah by things that by Truma wouldn't have been a prohibition.
Said, why don't we just make this ruling the beginning?
Right.
Mikal Makayim.
That's
what that question.
Okay. So Amar Mar. You go back to the Brisa. The Brisa was discussing. It says in the pasuk Nefesh Kisim al Mal V'chata B'Shgaga Mikadshe Hashem. So it says Nefesh, the soul. Echad HaYachid V'echad HaNasi V'echad Meshuach B'Mashma. We said that when it says Nefesh, it's coming to include not just an individual that does Meilah, that has benefit from Kachim, but even a king or a Kohen Gadol. The Gemara asks, Sheyachal Mai. It's an interesting way of putting it. Sheyachal Mai. That's not a phrase that's so common, but what it's saying is, what could you have thought? Like Salkadait, what's the, it's sort of like a Pshita. Pshita, isn't that obvious? What were you thinking?
What it means to say.
Sheyachal Mai is like, what could it have been?
Like
different.
Obviously.
Yeah, so basically it's a question of it's obvious. Pshita.
So it's a sarcastic comment?
It's not sarcastic. Sheyachal Mai means what was the possibility that you need to negate? Sheyachal as in possible. Mai, what? What was possible?
Becomes the alien reference.
Pshita. It's obvious. Nefesh ksiv. It says nefesh. And that means everyone. It says Ma'od Tema, what might you have said? Amar Rachmana, the Eibishter says in the Torah, in Shmais, in Tetzava, I guess.
Sure.
Bashir.
Tomorrow proves it.
What's the alien?
It says here, and one who puts it on an alien.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that. Vashayiti mimeno al
Tomorrow
zar.
shows there's aliens.
Do yourself a try.
Yeah, give yourself a trophy for that.
Here, it's good. You got it. It's
Vashayiti mimeno al zar. We're talking about the Shemen HaMishcha. I never translated Zar as an alien.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm good.
it doesn't mean an alien from outer space. It
This must have
means
been done like
not a
1978.
native.
Not an
Alien as in not native.
Like illegal aliens.
So, Vash,
This must have been done after like E.T.
Vashayitin mimenu al zar. Talking about the Shemen HaMishcha, that if you put it on someone,
By the way,
That's-
did you know that it does discuss aliens and mermaids in Rashi and the Gemara and other places? So
Right.
for another time,
right?
that
We had
just
in
put it up
Becharis,
there.
we had the mermaid. We had
the
the
mermaid and the
we had
aliens
the bottom
were
of
the
the
giant.
dirt or something.
Just to remember.
If he puts the Shemen HaMishcha on someone that's not a Kohen, so, but nevertheless it goes on a Kohen Gadol, the Shemen HaMishcha. So v'hai lav zarhu, the Kohen Gadol, which we call over here the Mashuach, the one that's anointed, is not an alien, it's not a stranger. The Imshach Begavei, he was anointed. So I could have thought that it's not considered Meilah if the Kohen Gadol makes use of
Kamash
temple property. Kamash Malan, that there's Meilah even by the Kohen Gadol. Well, you could say, like, maybe he's holy himself. Now, the king only comes along because we mentioned the Kohen Gadol, so we say the king, but there really would be no Chiddush in the king. That's what's happening here. It's the king, oh, maybe not. Maybe the king, is the king anointed with the Shemen HaMishcha? No. The king is just
Yeah.
anointed with oil.
Oh, Afarsama.
I don't think it's Shemen HaMishcha.
No, Afarsama.
We said that there was a...
So the sacred
Balsam.
anointing oil was a special mixture of oil and herbs that used to anoint each king of the Davidic dynasty, each Kohen Gadol.
Oh, so now I have a question here. Where did I see this? Just 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, I understood. I have a Taisus Rabbeinu Peretz that the Shita Mekubetzes brings. See, the Shita Mekubetzes collected Svarim that that people didn't have and he had access to. So that's basically the Shita Mekubetzes. It's a collection of opinions. So sometimes he brings whole pieces. So over here he brings a whole piece, Taisus Rabbeinu Peretz, and over here in Taisus Rabbeinu Peretz he says the Nasi the Nakat Agav Mashiach Nakta. He says that he mentions the king only because he already says the Kohen Gadol. I don't know why that's necessary. It's
Well,
not
because that
necessary.
תישא בו לגבי שמן המשחה שעשה משה, שנמשכו בו המשכן וכליו, אהרון ובניו, זהו.
What about a king?
You don't say it.
Okay.
Excuse
Art
me,
Spell
what
says the
era
king.
was the Shita Mekubetzes?
In the time of the Arizal, in the 1500s.
1500s.
Lived in Egypt. Bitzal Ashkenazi.
Usually,
Or Bitzal Ashkenazi.
usually tries to compare.
lived in
like,
Egypt. It was called Ashkenaz.
That's
I
why.
was just thinking.
So was the Arizal.
That's why. Because you would only call someone if he's in Germany, they wouldn't call him Ashkenazi. It's because he moved to Egypt.
He
That's
moved to
So
Egypt.
he was. They were his.
That's how you got. That's